"You're too tiny to be my guard." She laughed until he dropped 12 men in seconds. The plasma bolt hit the crate 3 inches from Cade Mercer's head. He didn't flinch. 12 targets, maybe 13 if the shadow behind the loading crane counted. The docking bay's overhead lights flickered as another volley tore through the station's thin atmosphere. Cirrus Valtara stood 15 feet to his left, amber eyes wide, one hand frozen on her holster. She'd been mid-sentence when the ambush started, something about protocol and proper defensive formations. Cade moved. The first attacker went down with a shattered knee, Cade's boot connecting before the man's rifle finished tracking. He took the weapon mid-fall, reversed it, put 2 rounds through the shooter's partner. The rifle's stock cracked against a third man's skull as Cade rolled beneath a cargo sled, came up behind cover with a pistol he'd stripped from someone's holster. "Get down," he said. Cirrus hadn't moved. Green skin pale in the strobing emergency lights, she watched him work with the analytical detachment of someone observing a chemical reaction. He filed that away for later and dropped 2 more shooters who'd thought the maintenance scaffolding made good high ground. The next 4 came as a unit, coordinated. Cade let them think they had him pinned, counted their shots, waited for the reload cycle. When it came, he was already moving low and fast, pistol bucking twice before he closed the distance. Hand-to-hand was quieter, messier. Number 9 tried to use Cirrus as a hostage, got an arm around her shoulders before Cade's knife opened his throat. The body dropped, and Cirrus stumbled forward into Cade's chest. Her uniform was warm, heat bleeding through the tactical weave. She smelled like ozone and something floral he couldn't name. "You all right?" he asked. She pushed away, smoothed her jacket. "Behind you." The last 3 rushed together, desperation making them stupid. Cade caught the first one's wrist, felt bones crack as he torqued the joint past breaking, used the screaming man as a shield while he put the pistol through the second attacker's center mass. The third got close enough that Cade could see the fear in his eyes before the knife work finished it. Silence settled over the docking bay. 12 bodies, just like the intelligence brief had promised. Cade ejected the pistol's magazine, checked the round count, reloaded from a fallen shooter's vest. His hands didn't shake. "You're bleeding," Cirrus said. He glanced at his shoulder, grazed, nothing deep. "Happens." "That was," she stopped, recalibrated. "How did you—" "Experience." She circled one of the bodies, knelt, checked the tattoo visible beneath a torn sleeve. Her fingers were steady now, professional training reasserting itself. "Karvesh raiders. They don't work this far into coalition space unless someone paid them very well." "They knew we were coming," Cade said. "Obviously." She stood, dusted her hands. "The question is who told them?" Cirrus's amber eyes narrowed, studying him with new attention. She'd laughed when he'd been assigned as her protection detail. Actually laughed. Too small, she'd said. Too human. Her government had protested the coalition's insistence on cross-species security protocols, claimed it was political theater. She wasn't laughing now. "I underestimated you," she said. "Most people do. I was told humans were fragile, slow reflexes, weak skeletal structure." "We are," Cade said. He wiped the knife clean on a dead raider's jacket, sheathed it. "We just make up for it." Station security arrived in a clatter of boots and shouted commands, officers spreading through the bay with weapons drawn. Too late, as always. Cade watched Cirrus speak with the response commander, her posture straight, voice controlled. When she returned, her expression had shifted. Professional mask in place, but something moved behind it. Reassessment. "They'll want statements," she said. "I know the drill. The smuggling investigation is compromised. If the Karvesh knew we were arriving, others will too." She swept a hand toward the carnage. "We need to work faster." They cleared security processing with bureaucratic slowness, forms and biometric scans and witness statements. When they finally emerged, the station's main concourse opened before them in a riot of neon and commerce. Cirrus walked close enough that her shoulder brushed his. "Our contact operates in the lower market," she said, level 37, an information broker named Vosk. "You trust him?" "No, but he's reliable if you pay enough." They took the transit lift down, descending through commercial levels toward the industrial underlayers, where legitimate business gave way to gray markets. The air grew thicker, recycled too many times, carrying the smell of synthetic lubricants and unwashed bodies. Cirrus stepped closer as the lift filled with dock workers. Her body radiated heat, alien physiology burning hotter than human normal. "You're not what I expected," she said. "Few people are." "What were you before this?" "Lots of things." "That's not an answer." "It's the only one you're getting." The lift shuddered to a stop at level 37. Section K occupied a converted storage area. Ceiling low, oppressive. Vosk's shop sat wedged between a weapons dealer and something that might have been a medical clinic. Inside, the air tasted of metal and fear. Vosk was a Trellin, insectoid features dominated by compound eyes that tracked them with mechanical precision. 4 arms typed across multiple interfaces simultaneously. "Intelligence Officer Valtara," he said, voice clicking through a translator collar. "Punctual as always." "I need information, Vosk. Weapons shipments through this station. Last 3 months." "Expensive request." Cirrus placed a credit chip on the desk. Vosk's eyes tracked it, multiple lenses focusing. "This will buy you fragments," he said. "For the full picture, I need triple." "Double." "Triple or you get nothing." Cade stepped forward, leaned on the desk, let Vosk get a good look at the blood still staining his sleeves. "Double," Cade said, "or we talk about why you're so expensive today." Vosk's translator made a sound like grinding gears. "Is that a threat, human?" "It's a question." The Trellin's eyes darted between them. "You were hit at the docking bay. Karvesh work. Someone knew you were coming." Cade's hand moved to his pistol, rested fingers on the grip. "Double. Now." Vosk's mandibles clacked in agitation. 3 arms typed while the 4th retrieved a data cylinder from a concealed drawer. He placed it on the desk. "Double," Vosk said, "and we never speak again." Cirrus took the cylinder, pocketed it. "The shipments, are they what the manifests claim?" "Some are, some," Vosk's translator stuttered. "Some are not weapons you can hold." "Explain." "Biological, samples, very illegal, very expensive, very dead if you ask more questions." Cade felt Cirrus tense beside him. Her hand moved to the cylinder in her pocket, protective. "Who's moving them?" she asked. "I don't know. I don't want to know." Vosk stood, all 4 arms moving in dismissal. "Take your data. Leave." They left the shop, emerged into the market's chaos. Cirrus walked fast, purpose in every step. They were 3 blocks away when she pulled him into a service alcove, empty except for cleaning equipment. "Biological weapons," she said. "That's not smuggling, that's—" She stopped. Her hand flew to her throat, fingers finding her pulse point. Cade saw it then, the pale discoloration spreading beneath her green skin, creeping up from her collar. "Cirrus?" "The shop," she gasped. "Something in the air." Cade caught her as she collapsed. Her skin was cold, temperature dropping rapidly. He ripped open her jacket, found the medical kit at her belt, pulled the injector. He pressed it to her neck, triggered the dose. "Stay with me," he said. Her eyes found his, amber dimming. "Vosk, poisoned." Cade checked her hands, found nothing. Checked her throat where she'd touched her skin. There, a tiny puncture, almost invisible. The data cylinder. He pulled it from her pocket, examined it, modified. A delivery system disguised as storage media. "Why?" Cirrus whispered. "Someone really doesn't want you investigating." Cade administered a second dose, watched color slowly return to her skin. She'd survive, but she'd be weak for hours. He lifted her, felt her arms loop around his neck. She was lighter than he expected, body heat already rising back toward normal as the antitoxin worked. Her face pressed against his shoulder, breath warm through his shirt. "I was wrong," she said, "about humans." "Save it, we need to move." He carried her through maintenance passages, avoided cameras, found a transit hotel on level 42, paid cash for a room. Inside, he laid Cirrus on the bed, checked her vitals, pulse strong, breathing steady. He secured the door, set proximity alerts, checked his weapons. The data cylinder sat on the desk, toxic and tempting. Whatever was on it had been worth killing for. Cirrus stirred, eyes opening. She looked at him across the dim room. "Thank you," she said. "Part of the job." "No." She sat up slowly, testing her strength. You could have left me, could have taken the data and completed whatever mission you're really on. Cade met her eyes, said nothing. Because you're not just protection detail, Saris continued. No one moves like you do without being something more. She stood, crossed to where he sat. What are you really doing here, Cade Mercer? He could lie, should lie, but something in her eyes made him want something different. I don't know yet, he said. Ask me again when we figure out what's on that cylinder. She studied him for a long moment. Then, surprising him, she smiled. Reached down, fingers brushing his jaw, thumb tracing his cheekbone. The touch sent electricity through him. We should check the data, he said. We should, but she didn't move. Neither did he. The moment stretched, taut with possibility. Then Saris stepped back, returned to professional distance. Tomorrow, after I've recovered. I'll take first watch. Cade, she paused at the bathroom door. I'm glad you didn't leave me. When she was gone, Cade picked up the data cylinder, turned it over in his hands. He should contact Director Lawson, should report the development, should follow protocol. Instead, he pocketed the cylinder and watched the door where Saris had disappeared, and wondered exactly when this mission had stopped being about orders. Cade woke to the sound of running water. Dawn cycle lighting filtered through the hotel room's window. He'd slept in the chair, pistol in his lap. The bathroom door opened. Steam rolled out. Saris emerged wrapped in a towel, auburn hair dark and wet against green shoulders. Water droplets traced paths down her skin. She stopped when she saw him watching. Morning, she said. How do you feel? Functional. She moved to her pack, pulled out fresh clothes. I'll get dressed. He returned with ration packs and coffee. Saris had dressed in tactical blacks, hair pulled back. They sat at the desk, Saris interfacing the cylinder with her tablet. The data loaded, shipping manifests, coordinates. These aren't random, she said. Look, research stations, medical facilities, all in systems with major populations of my species. Cade leaned closer. The mass ratios are wrong for medical supplies. Exactly. She pulled up a route map. This hauler just departed 2 days ago, the distant shore. We could intercept it. I have a ship. Saris raised an eyebrow. Of course you do. The Raven's Wing waited at a different docking level. Modified courier vessel, too many engines. Saris ran her hand along the hull. Military hardware, she said. Salvage auction. Right. The cockpit was cramped. Saris squeezed into the co-pilot's seat, her knee pressing against his thigh. Cade ran pre-flight, eased them out of dock. When they were clear, he opened the throttle. Saris gripped the armrests. 6 hours to intercept, he said. They flew in silence, stars streaming past. Yesterday, Saris said, you moved like you knew the ambush was coming. Why? Your investigation was too clean. Someone set you on this trail. You think I'm being manipulated. I think we both are. Her hand moved to his arm. Cade, if there's something you're not telling me. When we find out what's on that hauler, ask me again. She held his gaze, then nodded. 4 hours in, proximity alarms chimed, a ship behind them, larger, heavily armed. Hunter-killer, Saris said. The comm crackled. Cut engines and prepare to be boarded. Cade dove toward an asteroid field. The pursuing vessel fired. He threaded between tumbling rocks, using the wing's handling to slip through gaps. A volley clipped their thruster. Warning lights cascaded. I'm going to do something stupid, he said. He killed the engines. The wing went silent. The pursuing ship rocketed past. Couldn't lock on. Saris was breathing fast. That was terrifying. Effective. They drifted. The hunter-killer searched, then moved off. Cade waited before reigniting engines. They knew where we were going, Saris said. Someone's tracking us. Your handler? Former handler. The distant shore was docking at a refueling platform when they caught up. Cade matched velocity, attached clamps, extended the boarding tube. Ready, he asked. Ceres pulled on a breather mask, checked her weapon. Let's see what's worth killing for. Inside, the ship was dark. They moved through corridors to the cargo bay. The door was unsealed. Containers were stacked in rows marked with medical symbols. Saris opened one. Inside were vials, clear liquid. Then Cade saw the tanks. Bodies floating in preservation fluid, Cirrus's species, dozens of them. "What is this?" Cirrus breathed. Cade examined the monitoring equipment. "They're suspended, being used for something." Cirrus moved to a terminal. "Test subjects, exposure trials." She pulled up files. "They're testing a biological agent on my species." Her voice shook. "It's a weapon. Someone's developing a bioweapon that only kills my people." Cade felt ice in his gut. This was what Lawson had sent him to protect. Cirrus saw something in his face. "What is it?" Alarms blared, red lights flooded the bay. "They booby-trapped it," Cade shouted. "Move!" They ran. Behind them, the cargo bay erupted. The explosion chased them through corridors. They hit the tube, scrambled through. The clamps disengaged just as the hauler tore itself apart. In the cockpit, Cade fired engines. Cirrus pulled off her mask, pale. "They wanted us to find it," she said, "then tried to kill us with the evidence." "Not us." Cirrus looked at him. "What aren't you telling me?" "Everything." Cade set autopilot. "I'm not just protection detail. I was sent to monitor your investigation, make sure it went where it was supposed to." "By whom?" "Coalition Intelligence, Director Lawson." Her hand moved to her weapon. "You've been lying." "Yes. Now I'm choosing which side I'm on." He met her eyes. "Yours." The gun lowered slowly. "Why should I believe you?" "Because I could have let you die, but I didn't." "If your agency is involved, this is genocide," Cade finished. Cirrus stared at the burning wreckage. "We need proof." "The cylinder from Vosk might have source codes we can follow." She nodded, holstered her weapon. "If we do this, we're going against both our governments." "And you're still willing?" "I'm willing." Cirrus moved closer. Her hand found his face, fingers tracing his jaw. "Then we see this through," she said. "Together." She kissed him, hard, fierce. Cade responded, hands finding her waist, pulling her closer. Heat and the knowledge that they were choosing something that would probably kill them. When they broke apart, her eyes were bright. "That was unprofessional," she said. "Extremely." "Good." The auction house occupied 3 levels in the station's commercial district, hidden behind an art gallery. Cade and Cirrus entered through the service entrance, credentials forged, wearing clothes that cost more than the wing's last fuel load. "We're buyers," Cirrus whispered as they descended marble stairs. "Wealthy, discreet, interested in exclusive merchandise." "I know how to play a role." "Do you know how to play a couple?" She'd changed into something that hugged every curve, emerald fabric that made her green skin luminous, auburn hair loose around her shoulders. "I'll manage," he said. Her hand slipped into his. "You'll do better than manage." The auction floor opened before them, cathedral-like space filled with beings from a dozen species. A host approached, reptilian features arranged in what passed for a smile. "First time attending?" he asked. "We heard you offer specialized items," Cirrus said, voice smooth and aristocratic, "medical research materials." The host's eyes narrowed. "Those auctions require special clearance." She produced a credit sheet. The host scanned it, expression shifting. "Of course, the private showing is on the lower level." They descended, the crowd thinned. Buyers down here wore harder faces. These weren't collectors. The viewing room held a dozen beings in a semicircle. At the center, displayed on a temperature-controlled platform, were biosample containers. Labels showed genetic markers, species identifiers. Cirrus's hand tightened on Cade's. The auctioneer was human, mid-50s, expensive suit. "Ladies and gentlemen, our final lot, viable genetic samples from 17 species, including the increasingly rare Valkorian physiology." Cirrus's species. "These samples have been tested. Verified pure, ideal for research applications or more specialized projects." Bidding started, numbers climbed, the auction concluded, a Trellin won. Cade's comm vibrated, incoming message encrypted. He opened it. Director Lawson's face filled the screen. "Mr. Mercer, I hope you're enjoying the show." Cade moved toward the exit, Cirrus following. He pulled her into a service corridor. "You're supposed to be monitoring Officer Valtara's investigation," Lawson continued, "not participating in it." "How did you find me?" "I never lost you. The tracker in your ship is just one of several." They reached an alcove. Cade kept his voice low. "What do you want?" "For you to complete your mission. Officer Valtara has discovered the bioweapon program just as planned. Now she needs to discover who's responsible." "Who is responsible?" Lawson's smile was cold. "The Valkorian government, of course. A rogue faction developing weapons against human colonies. Perfect justification for intervention." "That's a lie. It's a narrative, and you're going to help sell it." "No. Then Officer Valtara dies, right now. I have assets in that auction house. One word from me and she's eliminated." Cirrus had gone still beside him, listening. "You won't do that," Cade said. "You need her testimony." "I need a testimony. Doesn't have to be hers." Lawson leaned forward. "But if you want her to live, you'll bring her to the coordinates I'm sending. Alone, in 6 hours." The comm went dead. Cirrus watched him with amber eyes. "He wants you to kill me." "Yes. Will you?" "No." "Then what?" Cade pulled up the coordinates, a decommissioned mining facility in the belt. "Isolated." "He thinks I'm still following orders," Cade said, "that I'll choose duty over everything else." "Won't you?" He looked at her. "I already made my choice when I told you the truth." Cirrus moved closer. "So what do we do?" "We go to those coordinates, but not alone, and not to die." She kissed him, quick and fierce. "You have a plan." "Working on it." They left through different exits, met at a transit hub. Cirrus pulled up data on her tablet. "The samples from the auction. The Trellin who won them. I know him. Broker named Skvar. He operates out of a warehouse in Section 9. "You want to steal from him?" "I want evidence, real evidence, not whatever narrative Lawson's trying to sell." They found Skvar's warehouse an hour later. Cade disabled cameras while Cirrus bypassed locks. Inside, climate-controlled storage units lined the walls. The biosamples sat in a containment unit. Cirrus downloaded documentation, copied genetic markers, traced procurement records. "These samples," she said slowly, "they're not from my government. The genetic sequences have been modified, enhanced." "For what?" "For the weapon. They needed pure Valkorian DNA to create a pathogen that targets us specifically. But they also needed variants." Her face went pale. "Those bodies on the hauler weren't test subjects. They were donors, harvested." "How many?" "Dozens, maybe hundreds." Cirrus looked at him. "This isn't just genocide. It's industrialized murder, and your agency is part of it." "Not my agency anymore. But they think you're still theirs, which means we can use that." An idea formed, dangerous, but it might work. "Lawson wants me to bring you to those coordinates," Cade said. "He expects me to kill you there." "So we give him what he expects. Except you don't stay dead." Cirrus smiled. "I'm starting to like how you think." They spent the next 4 hours preparing. Cirrus contacted someone in her intelligence network, someone she trusted, arranged for backup. Cade modified the wing's transponder, created the illusion of compliance. When it was time, they boarded the ship. Cirrus sat beside him, her hand finding his. "If this goes wrong," she said. "It won't. But if it does—" He kissed her, slow this time, deliberate. When they separated, her eyes were dark. "It won't go wrong," he said. The mining facility loomed ahead, skeletal and dark. Cade brought the wing in slowly. 3 ships docked, armed personnel visible through windows. "More than I expected," Cirrus said. "Lawson's thorough." They landed. Cade helped Cirrus put on restraints, loose enough to slip, but convincing from a distance. "Trust me," he said. They exited the ship. Director Lawson waited in what had once been the facility's processing center, surrounded by operatives in tactical gear. "Mr. Mercer," Lawson said, "right on time." "I brought her." "So I see." Lawson approached Cirrus, studied her. "Officer Valtara, you've been quite troublesome." "You're developing a bioweapon," Cirrus said, "targeting my species." "We're developing insurance. Your government has been problematic. This gives us leverage." "This is murder." "This is politics." Lawson turned to Cade. "Kill her, quickly." Cade drew his weapon, pointed it at Cirrus. She met his eyes, waited. "No," Cade said. He turned the weapon on Lawson. The operatives reacted instantly, weapons coming up, but Cade had positioned himself well. Any shot at him would hit Lawson first. Stand down, Lawson ordered. His voice was calm. Mr. Mercer, you're making a mistake. I'm correcting one. You'll never leave this facility alive. Maybe not, but you're dying first. Cirrus slipped her restraints, pulled the pistol Cade had concealed on her. Back to back, they faced the operatives. Stalemate, Lawson said. Not quite. Lights flooded the facility, ships descended, Valkorian military signatures blazing. Cirrus's backup had arrived. Lawson's expression shifted. You played me. We learned from the best, Cirrus said. The Valkorian ships landed. Troops poured out. Lawson's operatives were outnumbered. They surrendered. Lawson stood among the chaos, watching his plan crumble. This doesn't end here. My government will deny everything. Maybe, Cade said, but you'll still be in a Valkorian prison. Valkorian officers took Lawson into custody, secured the facility. Cirrus spoke with her commander, provided briefings, handed over evidence. When it was done, she found Cade standing by the wing. My government wants to debrief you, she said. I figured. We're developing insurance. Your government has been problematic. This gives us leverage. In exchange for what? Testimony. Everything you know about Coalition Intelligence's black operations. And after that? After that, you're free, officially dead in Coalition records, alive in Valkorian territory. She stepped closer. With me if you want. Is that what you want? I want to finish what we started, expose the bioweapon program, bring down everyone involved. Her hand found his, and I want to do it with you. Cade pulled her close. Then that's what we'll do. She kissed him, deep and hungry. His hands found her waist, pulled her tight against him. Heat and need and certainty. When they broke apart, breathless, Cirrus smiled. Together, she asked. Together. The safe house occupied a converted industrial complex on Valkorian Prime's southern continent. Reinforced concrete, surrounded by sensor grids. Cade stood at the window, watching rain hammer the streets. Cirrus entered, carrying 2 cups of something that steamed. She'd changed into civilian clothes. Debriefing's done, she said, handing him a cup. He sipped something herbal, bitter. What did they say? They want us to testify before the council. 3 days. It'll be public, broadcast across Coalition space. Lawson's people will try to stop it. I know, she looked up at him. Are you ready? Cade thought about the bodies in those tanks. I'm ready. Cirrus set her cup down, turned to face him. Her hands found his chest. We have 3 days before everything changes, she said quietly. Yes, before we become targets, before we spend the rest of our lives looking over our shoulders. Her eyes met his. Then I don't want to waste them. She kissed him, slow at first, then deeper, urgent. Cade's hands found her waist, slid beneath her shirt to warm green skin. She gasped against his mouth. Bedroom, she breathed. They made it halfway before urgency won. Cade pressed her against the wall, mouth on her throat, her legs wrapped around his waist. Cade, she said, fingers tangling in his hair. He carried her the rest of the way, laid her on the bed, stripped away clothing, piece by piece, revealing green skin marked with scars. She pulled him down, nails scraping his shoulders. They moved together, learning each other's bodies, finding rhythms that made her gasp, heat and friction and the knowledge that this might be all they had. After they lay tangled in sheets, her head on his chest. I didn't expect this, she said quietly. What? You, us, feeling like I might actually have something worth protecting besides duty. Cade kissed her hair. I know what you mean. She propped herself up, studied his face. Tell me something true, something you've never told anyone. He was quiet for a moment. I was married once, before intelligence recruited me. Her eyes widened. What happened? I happened. Became someone she didn't recognize, someone who took missions and didn't come home, who lied about everything. He looked at the ceiling. She left. Do you regret it? Every day. Cirrus kissed him, soft and deliberate. I won't leave. You don't know that. I know I've seen what you're capable of, what you're willing to sacrifice, and I'm still here. She pressed her forehead to his. I'm not going anywhere. They spent the night talking. Stories, histories. Cirrus talked about growing up in military academies, about choosing intelligence work. Cade talked about missions gone wrong, about the line between duty and murder. Dawn found them still awake, wrapped together. 3 days, Cirrus said. We should make them count. The next morning they began planning. Cirrus pulled up schematics of the council chamber, security protocols, entry points. Lawson won't let us testify, Cade said. He'll send someone. Council security is tight. They just need one shot, one moment. They spent hours wargaming scenarios, sniper positions, sabotage points, extraction routes. By afternoon, they had contingencies for 12 different attack vectors. It's not enough, Cade said. It never is. That night, Cirrus received a message. She read it, face going pale. What is it? Cade asked. Chancellor Vexthor, the broker from the auction. He's been arrested. Good. No, not good. She showed him the message. He's claiming diplomatic immunity. Says he was working with coalition intelligence on a joint operation. Says the bioweapon program was sanctioned. Cade felt ice in his stomach. He's giving them cover. He's giving them a narrative. Rogue elements in both governments. Vexthor takes the fall. Lawson's people stay hidden, and the program continues. We have evidence. We have bodies and genetic samples. We don't have communications, orders, anything that ties this directly to coalition leadership. Cirrus set the tablet down. They're going to bury this. Cade's mind raced. The data cylinder from Vosk, we never fully analyzed it. It was designed to kill me. But it came from somewhere, had to be encoded by someone with access to the smuggling network. He pulled up his tablet. If we can trace the encoding signature, we might find who created it. They worked through the night, layers of encryption, false trails, security protocols. Cirrus bypassed safeguards with skill. At 3 a.m, they found it. A communication node, hidden in the cylinder's metadata, a direct link to Coalition Intelligence headquarters. This is it, Cirrus breathed. This proves they were monitoring the investigation, that they knew about the bioweapon from the start. It's not enough to prove they authorized it. No, but it's enough to ask questions they can't ignore. She looked at him. We need to get this to the council before the testimony. They'll lock this down the moment they know we have it. Then we transmit it now, broadcast it to every news network, every government, every system. Cirrus pulled up communication protocols. Make it too big to hide. That'll paint a target on us that won't ever go away. She met his eyes. I know. You sure about this? Are you? Do it, he said. Cirrus initiated the transmission, data flowing across networks, spreading like wildfire. Alarms sounded outside the safe house. They know, Cade said, moving to the window. We need to move. Lights flooded the street, military vehicles, human, coalition forces. How did they get here so fast? Cirrus grabbed weapons, her tablet. Because they were already here, waiting. Explosions rocked the building, breaching charges on the lower floors. Cade pulled Cirrus toward the back exit, found it blocked by armed operatives. Roof, he said. They ran, behind them, boots on stairs. Cade hit the roof access, kicked the door open. Rain hammered down. A transport hovered overhead, spotlight cutting through the downpour. Valkorian military markings. There, Cirrus pointed. They sprinted for the edge. The transport descended, loading ramp extending. Gunfire tore through the rain. Cade felt something punch his shoulder. Kept running. Got Cirrus to the ramp first, pushed her up, climbed after. The transport lifted as operatives reached the roof. Weapons fire sparked off the hull. Inside, Valkorian soldiers pulled them deeper. A medic appeared, examining Cade's shoulder. Through wound. Clean. Cirrus knelt beside him, pressed her forehead to his. You're an idiot. You're welcome. I didn't thank you. You should. She kissed him, fierce and grateful. When she pulled back, her eyes were wet. The transmission went through, she said. Every network in coalition space has it now. They can't stop it. Good. The transport banked hard, heading for secure territory. Behind them, the safe house burned. Cade leaned back, felt Cirrus's warmth against his side. The medic worked on his shoulder. 3 days until testimony, Cirrus said quietly. Yeah. Think we'll survive that long? He looked at her, amber eyes fierce. Together? Together. Then we'll survive. The council chamber rose 7 stories, walls lined with observation galleries for delegates from 30 systems. Cade stood in the preparation room, adjusting the collar of the formal jacket Valkorian security had provided. His shoulder ached where the bullet had passed through, medical foam keeping the wound closed. Saris entered, wearing intelligence dress uniform, green fabric against green skin, auburn hair bound back. She looked every inch the officer. "Ready?" she asked. "No." She smiled. "Good, neither am I." Through the wall they could hear the chamber filling, thousands of delegates, millions watching across coalition space. The broadcast would reach every inhabited system. "Security's tripled patrols," Saris said. "Sniper positions covered, entry points locked down." "It won't be enough." "I know." Cade moved to her, cupped her face. "If something happens..." "It won't. But if it does, you get out, you survive this." "Not without you." He kissed her, gentle this time, savoring it. When they separated, her eyes were bright. "Whatever happens," she said, "we did the right thing." "I know." A chime sounded. Time. They walked into the chamber together. The noise hit like a wall. Thousands of voices, dozens of languages, all falling silent as they took their positions at the witness stand. Cade scanned the galleries, too many sight lines, too many angles. The council moderator, a silver-scaled Drethian, called the session to order. "Officer Valtara, Mr. Mercer, you have brought grave accusations against coalition intelligence and the Valkorian government. The council will hear your testimony." Saris stepped forward. 3 weeks ago, I was assigned to investigate weapons smuggling through neutral space. What I discovered was not smuggling, it was genocide. She pulled up holographic displays, images of the bodies in the hauler, genetic test results, pathogen effectiveness data. The chamber erupted in voices. "A bioweapon designed specifically to target Valkorian physiology," Saris continued, "developed through the harvesting and testing on living subjects, funded by elements within coalition intelligence." The moderator called for order. "You have proof of these claims?" "We have documentation, genetic samples, communication records proving coalition intelligence monitored the operation from the beginning." Saris gestured to Cade. "And we have testimony from a former operative who was assigned to ensure the weapon's existence remained hidden." Cade stepped forward. "Director Pierce Lawson recruited me to monitor Officer Valtara's investigation. My mission was to guide her findings toward a predetermined narrative that would justify coalition intervention in Valkorian space." "That's a lie." The voice came from the coalition delegation. A woman in diplomatic robes stood. "Director Lawson is a respected officer. These accusations are the desperate fabrications of a rogue agent and a foreign operative." "Then explain the communication node," Saris said. She pulled up the data from Vosk's cylinder. "This metadata links directly to Coalition Intelligence Headquarters. It proves they were tracking the investigation." "It proves nothing," the diplomat said. "Monitoring suspected smuggling operations is standard protocol." "What about the bodies?" Cade asked. "What about the test subjects? If such atrocities occurred, they were perpetrated by rogue elements. Chancellor Vexthor has already confessed to operating outside official channels." "Convenient," Saris said. "One person takes the fall while the architects walk free." The chamber descended into chaos, delegates shouting, accusations flying. The moderator struggled to maintain order. Cade felt it before he saw it, movement in the upper gallery, wrong rhythm, wrong purpose. "Saris," he said quietly. She saw it too, a figure in the shadows, something long and dark in their hands. "Down!" Cade tackled her as the shot rang out. Plasma tore through the space where she'd been standing, scorching the witness platform. Security erupted into motion, but Cade was already moving. He vaulted the barrier, sprinting toward the gallery stairs. The shooter was repositioning, lining up a second shot. Cade took the stairs 3 at a time, closed the distance. The shooter turned, weapon coming up. Cade recognized him, coalition operative, one of Lawson's people. "Don't," Cade said. The operative fired. Cade dove left, felt heat sear past his ribs, came up with his own weapon drawn, put 2 rounds center mass. The operative went down, the rifle clattered away. Below, security had surrounded Saris, weapons out, scanning for additional threats. She looked up at Cade, nodded once. Alive? Safe? Cade descended the stairs. Security met him halfway, taking his weapon, securing the scene. The chamber was in pandemonium. Delegates fleeing, guards establishing perimeter. The moderator's voice cut through the chaos. The session will reconvene in 1 hour. All delegates will remain in the building. Cade was escorted to a holding room. Saris arrived minutes later, breaking through security protocols with the force of her rank. "You all right?" she asked. "Fine, you?" "Alive, thanks to you." She pulled him close, pressed her face against his chest. "That was too close." "It's not over, they'll try again." The door opened. The council moderator entered, flanked by security. Behind them, a figure Cade hadn't expected. Director Lawson in restraints. "Mr. Mercer, Officer Valtara," the moderator said. "We've detained Director Lawson for questioning. The coalition delegation has withdrawn its objections to your testimony." Lawson's face was calm, controlled. "This changes nothing." "It changes everything," Saris said. "The operative who tried to kill me was yours. That ties you directly to the attack." "One rogue agent doesn't prove conspiracy." "No," Cade said, "but the communication logs we transmitted do. Every news network in Coalition space has them now. Everyone knows intelligence was involved." Lawson's jaw tightened. "You've destroyed your own careers, made yourselves targets. For what? A handful of test subjects? A weapon that will never be deployed?" "For the truth," Saris said. "The truth is worthless without power to enforce it." "Then we'll see," Cade said, "won't we?" Guards led Lawson away. The moderator turned to them. "Your testimony has created a political crisis. The coalition is demanding independent investigation. Several systems are threatening withdrawal." The Drethian scales rippled. "You've reshaped the galactic landscape in 3 weeks." "We exposed a genocide program," Saris said. "What happens next is up to the council." "Indeed." The moderator paused. "You should know, Chancellor Vexler has reversed his confession. He's now claiming he was coerced by coalition operatives. His testimony corroborates yours." Cade felt something shift. He's flipping. "He's surviving, as are you, against considerable odds." The moderator inclined their head. "The council will reconvene. Your testimony will be entered into the official record. What you've started cannot be stopped." When they were alone again, Saris moved to the window. Below, the council complex stretched across the city, lit against the evening sky. "We did it," she said quietly. "We survived. More than that, we changed things." Cade joined her at the window, wrapped an arm around her waist. "What happens now?" "Now, trials, investigations, political upheaval." She leaned into him, "and we get to watch from the sidelines while smarter people clean up the mess." "You think they'll let us walk away?" "I think we've made ourselves too visible to disappear quietly, too inconvenient to kill without making martyrs." She turned to face him. "So yes, I think we get to walk away. Together, always together." He kissed her, deep and thorough, tasting relief and victory and the future they'd bought with betrayal and blood. When they separated, Sarah smiled. "Where do you want to go?" "Anywhere that's not here." "Just anywhere with you." "Better." They stayed at the window, watching the city lights come on. Somewhere below, the council was reconvening. Testimony would be heard, decisions would be made, the galaxy would shift on its axis. But for now, in this moment, they were just 2 people who'd chosen each other over duty, over orders, over everything they'd been trained to value. And somehow, impossibly, they'd survived. Saris said, "Yeah? Thank you." "For what?" "For choosing me." He pulled her closer. "I'd do it again." "I know." She kissed his jaw, his cheek, his mouth. "That's why I love you." The words hung in the air between them. Simple, terrifying, true. "I love you too," he said. She smiled, bright and genuine. They stood together as darkness fell, and the city transformed into light. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new threats, new fights. But tonight they had each other. And that was enough.